NASA has expressed that currently is the ideal time to coordinate attention toward Venus, following new disclosures about the potential for life on the planet. If you were to glance back at NASA's records from the 1960s, you would see that the office alluded to Venus as a planet from damnation. In the meantime, Mars had emerged as a more promising objective for investigation. Such unforgiving naming of far-off planets was to be expected during the intense space race era. The Soviet Union was also deeply engaged in sending exorbitant missions to Venus, a planet that appeared practically without any potential for life. By the way, the Soviet space program didn't leave its Venera missions until the breakdown of the Soviet realm. Thanks to astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, we finally grasped the purposes for their interest. Join us as we dive into the declassified pictures from Venus captured by the Soviet Union. The breakdown of the Soviet Union was critical in many regards. Not only did it alter the global political scene, but it also covered many secrets. The Soviet Union was known for its love of mystery, from running one of the most sophisticated intelligence organizations in the world to staying silent about possible extraterrestrial encounters. As a result, the former superpower harbors numerous mysteries. In truth, before the United States began to lead the pack in planetary space exploration, the Soviet Union was at the front of the space race. While the USSR space program included both triumphs and disappointments, its primary focus was always on Venus, the secretive and unfriendly planet. In Russian, Venus is known as Venera, which also became the name of the Soviet mission that spanned from 1961 to 1983. This happened during the same period that the U.S. was focused on its efforts to reach the moon. The Soviets decisively decided to distribute their assets elsewhere during the space race. It's not entirely unusual that the Soviet Union placed so much emphasis on Venus. Were they possibly viewing the planet as a potential military base, or were they maybe keen on colonizing it? After researching any possible life forms, the real motivations behind their obsession with the planet remain unclear. As the Soviet Union was deeply involved in the Cold War, their goals were not openly revealed. In fact, much of what we know about the Soviet missions to Venus comes from declassified or unarchived reports, and even then, it's difficult to pinpoint the specific reasons for their enduring efforts. The Soviets didn't simply land on Venus once, twice, or even multiple times. In total, they launched 28 expensive rockets targeted at the planet, with 13 entering Venus' atmosphere. Of those, 8 missions successfully landed. These aggressive and complex missions positioned the Soviet Union at the very forefront of space exploration. The U.S., albeit a close competitor, was more focused on satellite technology and innovative infrastructure. While the Soviets were focused on exploring the possibility of life on distant planets, their interest in Venus was rooted in their quest for scientific discovery and technological dominance. Most history books may not tell you this, but the Soviet space program was the first to send a probe into the atmosphere of a planet beyond Earth. They also became the first country to achieve a soft landing on another planet. The USSR was the first to send back pictures and sound recordings from another planet's surface. While these achievements are often overshadowed by later American successes, they were monumental milestones in space exploration. In 1992, the Soviet Space Agency was officially disbanded following the dissolution of the USSR, and it was later revived under the new Russian name Roscosmos. Many of the historical records were either lost or destroyed during this transition, which is why many aspects of the Soviet space program remain shrouded in secrecy. Although we may never know for certain why the Soviets launched so many spacecraft into Venus' atmosphere, it is likely that their decision was influenced more by cost-effectiveness than scientific curiosity. While the Soviet Union was evidently interested in exploring Venus, they were also searching for the presence of water, solar radiation, and other environmental factors. Without these missions, it would have been difficult for scientists to understand Venus' extreme temperatures and thick atmosphere. Today, many astronomers still argue that Venus is too cold to support life, with temperatures high enough to melt lead and an atmosphere thick with carbon dioxide. It's easy to dismiss the possibility of life existing on Venus. However, To overlook the pioneering contributions of the Soviet space program is to erase a significant part of history. For the Soviets, Venus was worth exploring, even if only to fuel the space race. Examining planets like Mars was not entirely off the table, but it was a far more costly endeavor than sending missions to Venus. The vast distance between Earth and other celestial bodies was a key factor in determining where to concentrate resources. Venus, on average, is just 40 million kilometers away from Earth, while Mars is around 250 million kilometers away. This dramatic difference in distance accounts for the significant expenses associated with Mars exploration. Moreover, the United States' global economic dominance made exploring Mars more feasible for them than for the Soviet Union. Some reports suggest that Soviet missions to Venus were controversial and suffered significant technical inadequacies. Many of their spacecraft were not designed to cover vast interplanetary distances, and there were numerous instances of lost communication with rockets. Given these challenges, it makes sense that the Soviet space program would opt for a mission to a closer planet that offered a greater likelihood of success. However, to focus only on the technical challenges would leave out the bigger story behind the Venera missions. At the time the Soviet program began launching missions to Venus, the U.S. was still largely focused on reaching the moon. NASA's Venus missions in the 1960s were plagued by failures, leading to a phenomenon known as the Venus curse. Each time NASA launched a probe toward Venus, it ended in catastrophe. This is when the Soviet Union saw an opportunity to capitalize on America's failures and win a major victory in the space race. The Soviets took advantage of NASA's struggles, intensifying their efforts to explore Venus. They saw Venus as a critical milestone in the space race, a planet that the U.S. had ignored. Despite their limited resources, the Soviets managed to send a series of successful missions to Venus. In contrast, NASA's focus on the moon led to a disparity in the two nations' space programs. With both sides eager to outdo the other, the term terrible planet became associated with Venus in popular media, a term often used by the U.S. to downplay Soviet accomplishments. This negative image of Venus didn't stop the Soviet space program. Their goal was to demonstrate their superiority over the U.S. Although the Soviet Union's missions to Venus are not as widely recognized today, they were highly ambitious and advanced for their time. The Venera missions marked the beginning of the space age. Starting in the 1950s, the Soviets began developing the technology to send spacecraft to Venus. Over the next 30 years, they built and launched a series of interplanetary probes as part of the Venera program, land successfully on Venus, and transmit data back to Earth. This marked a major milestone in space exploration, as it was the first time a spacecraft had landed on another planet and sent valuable information about its environment. Venera 7's success demonstrated the growing capabilities of Soviet technology and space exploration. It sent back important data about the temperature and pressure on Venus, showing that the planet's surface was incredibly hot, with temperatures of around 475 degrees Celsius 887 degrees Fahrenheit, and that its atmosphere was mostly composed of carbon dioxide, with a crushing pressure far greater than Earth's. This information was crucial for future missions and for our understanding of Venus as an inhospitable world. Following the success of Venera 7, the Soviet Union continued to improve its technology and sent a series of increasingly advanced missions. Venera 9, launched in 1975, was the first spacecraft to transmit pictures from the surface of Venus. These images, although blurry and low resolution by today's standards, provided the first direct visual confirmation of the planet's rocky surface, which was covered in a thick layer of clouds and harsh terrain. Venera 10, launched shortly after, also transmitted images and data from the surface. These successful landings and transmissions of data solidified the Soviet Union's reputation as a leader in space exploration during this time. They had successfully landed on Venus and collected valuable information that would guide future missions to both Venus and other planets. Despite the technical difficulties faced by the Soviet space program, including the extreme conditions on Venus that made landing probes and maintaining communication difficult, the Soviet Union's commitment to exploring Venus remained unwavering. The Venera program was a testament to the determination and innovation of Soviet scientists and engineers, who were determined to make groundbreaking contributions to space exploration. The Venera missions also provided a wealth of data on Venus' atmosphere, surface, and weather patterns, which have been vital to our current understanding of the planet. These missions laid the groundwork for future Venus exploration, and their legacy continues to influence space research today. The Soviet Union's focus on Venus was not just about winning the space race, but about contributing to humanity's understanding of the universe. The Venera program, despite its challenges and setbacks, was a monumental achievement in the history of space exploration. Today, as scientists continue to explore Venus, we build on the foundations laid by the Soviet space program, which showed the world that exploring other planets was not only possible, but essential for advancing our knowledge of the cosmos. Communicate information data from another planet's surface, giving imperative data about Venus' temperature and strain. Later missions, for example, Venera 13, caught a variety of all-encompassing photos of the planet's surface, contributing exceptional insights into Venus geography. Notwithstanding a few misfortunes and disappointments, the Venera missions were essential in extending our comprehension of Venus and space exploration in general. During the 1980s, the Soviet Union's Venera 13 outperformed past missions in intricacy, capturing detailed pictures of the planet's surface. When the Soviet Union stopped activities in the mid-1990s, the Venera program had achieved definitely more than anybody had anticipated. The legacy of the Venera missions lives on today as Roscosmos and NASA prepare for the joint VD mission, planned for the late 2020s or mid-2030s. This new mission expects to research Venus' atmosphere, topography, and history in order to reveal signs of past or present habitability. The Venera missions pave the way for future missions to Venus, Mars, and beyond, and their accomplishments continue to shape the eventual fate of space exploration. The upcoming VD mission, a joint effort between Russia's Roscosmos and NASA, represents an astonishing new chapter in the ongoing investigation of Venus, set to launch in the late 2020s or mid-2030s. This mission will focus on examining the planet's environment, geographical history, and possible indications of past or current livability. The spacecraft will be equipped with an orbiter, a lander, and possibly an inflatable design intended to explore Venus in extraordinary detail. The VD mission not only aims to extend our understanding of Venus, but also highlights the enduring legacy of the Soviet-era Venera program, which remains one of the most ambitious and significant space exploration endeavors ever undertaken. As we plan ahead, the lessons learned from the Venera program are still relevant to current and future planetary exploration missions. The technological advancements achieved by the Soviet space program, such as the development of tough materials capable of enduring extreme temperatures and pressure, have been fundamental for subsequent missions to Venus, Mars, and other planets in our solar system. These advancements in spacecraft design and instrumentation laid the groundwork for modern space exploration and continue to inform mission planning, technological development, and operational strategies. The Venera program's influence extends beyond the scientific and technological domains. During the Cold War, the space race was not just a contest of scientific achievement, but also a way of asserting philosophical superiority. For the Soviet Union, succeeding in the Venera missions was a demonstration of its technological prowess and a significant marker in the competition with the U.S. The international community closely followed these achievements, recognizing the Venera missions as a crucial part of humanity's expanding understanding of the universe. Each success, such as Venera 7's soft landing on Venus in 1970, was not only a scientific triumph, but also a powerful political statement. The success of the Soviet Venera missions was not without its challenges. Operating in Venus' hostile environment presented enormous technical obstacles, including extreme temperatures reaching up to 450 degrees Celsius (842 degrees Fahrenheit), immense atmospheric pressure, and a thick corrosive atmosphere made primarily of sulfuric acid clouds. These conditions made it incredibly difficult for spacecraft to survive long enough to collect valuable data. Despite these setbacks, the perseverance and creativity of Soviet scientists and engineers were key to overcoming these challenges, resulting in the successful collection of crucial information about Venus' surface and atmosphere. The accomplishments of the Venera missions were instrumental in our understanding of Venus' inhospitable conditions, from its searing surface temperatures to its thick, toxic atmosphere. These missions provided priceless insights into the planet's extreme environment, which is dominated by carbon dioxide, as well as its geological features, including its volcanic fields and rugged terrain. The panoramic images captured by later missions, such as Venera 13 and Venera 14, allowed scientists to further investigate Venus' surface composition, revealing insights into the planet's geological history and its potential for past volcanic activity. One of the main contributions of the Venera missions was their ability to capture the first pictures of Venus' surface, giving a glimpse into a world previously shrouded in mystery. These photos revealed a rugged and alien landscape, vastly different from anything found on Earth. The success of the Venera program demonstrated that, despite the planet's harsh environment, it was still possible to gather significant scientific data, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and expanding our understanding of the solar system. However, not all missions were successful. Some Soviet spacecraft failed to reach Venus or experienced technical malfunctions that prevented them from transmitting data back to Earth. The difficulties of working in such an extreme environment, combined with the technological limitations of the time, meant that some missions were unable to achieve their objectives. Nevertheless, the persistence of the Soviet space program, despite these challenges, is a testament to the determination and resilience of the scientists and engineers involved in the Venera project. In addition to the technical achievements, the Venera missions had significant international and cultural implications. The success of the Soviet Union space program during the Cold War was a source of national pride and a symbol of the USSR's technological and philosophical superiority. Each successful mission to Venus represented not just a victory in the realm of science, but also a broader ideological battle between the Soviet Union and the US. The space race was a struggle for global influence, and the Venera missions played a central role in this competition. While the Soviet space program is often overshadowed by NASA's achievements, the Venera missions remain a pivotal part of the history of space exploration. The technological advancements, scientific discoveries, and political ramifications of the Venera missions continue to influence how we understand Venus and space exploration in general. These missions demonstrated the potential for interplanetary travel and paved the way for future missions to Venus, Mars, and beyond. Looking forward, the legacy of the Venera missions continues to inspire new generations of scientists, engineers, and explorers. The lessons learned from these missions, along with the advancements in technology and knowledge gained over decades of exploration, will guide future missions to Venus and other distant worlds. As space agencies around the world continue to push the boundaries of exploration, the spirit of the Venera program, characterized by resilience, perseverance, and innovation, remains a guiding force in the ongoing quest to understand our solar system and the universe beyond. The Venera missions are also an important reminder of the collaborative nature of space exploration. While the Soviet Union spearheaded these missions, the knowledge and techniques gained from their successes and failures have been shared and built upon by space agencies around the world. The Venera program contributed greatly to the international scientific community's understanding of planetary exploration, particularly in the harsh environments of planets like Venus. These lessons have influenced not only future missions to Venus, but also to other planets, such as Mars, where similar challenges of extreme conditions and limited technology exist. Moreover, the legacy of the Venera missions is still visible in the advancements of modern space exploration technologies. The pioneering work of Soviet engineers in designing spacecraft capable of surviving in Venus' searing atmosphere laid the groundwork for modern spacecraft and landers. From advancements in heat-resistant materials to the development of more durable sensors and instruments, many of the breakthroughs made during the Venera program continue to impact current space exploration efforts. The political context in which the Venera missions were carried out remains an important historical aspect. During the Cold War, space exploration was more than just a scientific endeavor. It was a powerful geopolitical tool. Each achievement in space was seen as a symbol of national strength and technological prowess, influencing the global balance of power. The Soviet Union's achievements, particularly with the Venera missions, represented a significant victory in the space race, demonstrating its ability to conduct complex and successful interplanetary exploration. In the context of the future, the continuing relevance of the Venera missions is clear. As we prepare for new missions to Venus, particularly the upcoming collaboration between Roscosmos and NASA in the VD mission, the lessons learned from the Venera program will continue to play an essential role. The ongoing exploration of Venus, with its extreme environment and mysterious features, remains a priority for the scientific community. The search for clues about the planet's past habitability and the potential for life is just one of the many challenges that future missions will aim to tackle. As we venture deeper into space and look toward further planetary exploration, the legacy of the Venera missions provides not only a valuable technical and scientific foundation, but also a symbol of human perseverance and curiosity. The ability to overcome tremendous obstacles and push the boundaries of exploration, even in the face of immense challenges, continues to inspire new generations of explorers. In conclusion, the Soviet Union's Venera missions were a monumental achievement in the history of space exploration. Through their dedication, ingenuity, and determination, Soviet scientists and engineers made invaluable contributions to our understanding of Venus and the broader universe. Despite the challenges and the passage of time, the legacy of the Venera missions remains a testament to the spirit of scientific inquiry and the human drive to explore the unknown. As we continue our exploration of space, the achievements of the Venera missions will remain a vital part of the ongoing journey to understand our solar system and beyond.